Well, good evening. Hello, this is Jim 12 from Alpha Crucis College, and I'm talking to you about EDU 105 and 405, semester 219. It's the 26th of July 2019. Now, this afternoon, I conducted a Zoom session with some students from my classes, and I pressed record, and guess what? It didn't work. So I do apologize to you wonderful people for joining me this afternoon, but I thought since I'd promised to make a video of that meeting, I probably should go through a few things and post it up anyway. So here's my attempt at memory of what we discussed. Excuse me. We do have a South African contingent as part of our enrollment this semester. So a few notes to the South Africans. Yes, you do have to do the plagiarism quiz, the APA 6th, and make sure you do it and upload onto your Moodle. The CPAT, the Child Protection Awareness Training, that is best done in your jurisdiction. So if you've got something in South Africa that is equivalent, please do that. That would be great. If you live in Tasmania, please use the Tasmanian system or Victoria, Queensland, or whatever. And if you live in New South Wales, use the CPAT link, which is on Moodle. So, Landtite. Now, Landtite is really only for those who are going to teach in Australia. So, you South Africans are exempt from doing the Landtite. Everyone else, please do it. The key thing there is that you've got to allow yourself about an hour each for literacy and numeracy, and to post the results in terms of percentages. The score is going to be out of 30, but convert that to a percentage and put it in the questionnaire the Landtime. CPAT is actually going to take you about an hour if you're doing the New South Wales one. I'd love all of you to do the observational journal questionnaire. The questionnaire will take you all of 15 seconds. All it is doing is ensuring that you've actually read about observational visits and you've got them on your radar and you're planning to go and visit a variety of schools, which would be really beneficial for you to do and to start doing that sooner than later. Okay, a word about educational assignments. Now, yesterday in my last day with the students on the intensive, I posted a Word document with some samples of educational assignments that you're going to meet, either bachelor or master's. Now, the thing is, I was at pains to try and convey to you that the assignments you're going to do during your 4 years or 2 years, it doesn't bear much resemblance to the format of the questions on EDU 105 and 405. So I felt obliged to let you know what most of the assignments are going to look like. The key thing is they're usually quite long, with lots and lots and lots and lots of subpoints. So when you're working through an assignment, the idea is you can tick off to ensure that you've met that, done that, applied that, and make sure you look at the criteria in the rubrics. That will indicate to you, make sure that you do apply the relevant amount of time and energy for each of the parts. So I'm not wanting to frighten you by looking at those assignments. Obviously, your lecturers will go through them with you when you get there. I'm just trying to point out to you that most subjects don't have standardized essays. There are some, but they're a minority. You'll also notice in the section on educational assignments, there's a section on the TPA, Teaching Performance Assessment, which is a brand new thing the government have introduced the last couple of years. Now, not applicable to you folks in South Africa, but everyone else who's Australia, including Tasmania, you are obliged to learn about the TPA because you'll be doing that inside your final placement. Okay, a word about for bachelor people, the reading reflections. This is an assignment, number 3, which I would ask you to ensure that you obviously put this in as a Word document under a cover sheet, standardized cover sheet. The format of your reading reflections isn't that critical. I really want you to make it as simple as you can. Typically, since you're reviewing 2 subjects, two papers, then you've presumably got 2 subheadings, 1 for each, and a little reference at the end where you've particularly referred to items within those papers. The idea of the reading reflection is that you can show that you've not just summarized, but that you've actually reflected on the papers you've read. So it's quite okay to have an opinion, and it's quite okay for you to state it in the first person singular. I don't recommend you have I in every sentence or every paragraph. That would be over the top, but there is a place for first person singular. Now, for those of you doing masters, the equivalent of assessment number 3 is the literature review. Now, that is a much bigger piece. This assignment is the biggest contrast between bachelor and masters. So here, it's a formal literature review. It's not an essay as such, it's a literature review, and therefore look into what literature reviews look like. Cover sheet, and then off you go. You can structure that as you wish, as it makes sense to you, to look at the 2 papers that are on Moodle, plus a few more that you happen to find, which either agree with or contradict one or both of the papers that you've read. So go to town, enjoy, but don't get strung up on format. The key is how well have you reviewed the literature. And don't forget there's a word limit, and don't forget the idea of that is to stop you doing too much work. Okay, number 4 on my notes, the oral, the teaching segment you're going to do. Make sure you have a lot of attention, you put a lot of attention into selecting your dummy students, or they might not be dumb, they might be actually real students, which is fine. But think about them more than you think about what you're going to say. Because in your 10-minute video, it would be a great shame if you're doing all the talking. Great shame. So make sure that there is interaction from your students and that they are actually demonstrating their engagement with you. Because if they're playing with their iPhones or otherwise distracted, then sorry, you won't get many marks, for student engagement. So they need to be involved with what you're doing and showing that they're engaged. I love that word. A word about the journals, 1 per week, 5 weeks. And you'll notice there's a date in the Moodle, and those windows will be open for another week after they are due. The point of that is that things happen and you might need a bit more time to get your post in. Please don't write too much. I've noticed already that some students are writing rather a lot, so don't worry, you don't have to write a lot. The point is to make a good journal post. Now, when you're doing it, if you do run out of time and even the week's grace is not enough for you, send me an email and explain your situation, and I can open the window for you and give you a bit of extra space. But not a good idea to email me on the 2nd of November and say, not done any of the journal forms yet. I'll probably say, well, you're a bit too late, sorry. But, you know, if you miss it by a few days, halfway through the semester, that's absolutely fine. Just let me know. The major essay. That is the formal, real test of whether you can write academically, whether you can write formally, professionally, and do all the conventions of APA 6, etc., and create an essay that's a great argument. I want to be riveted when I read it. I don't want to be bored. I want to be convinced. So think of your writing as being a case. You're stating a case for the prosecution or for the acquittal of homework. It's a great educational topic. Arguably, there'll be never an answer, but have a go anyway and see how you go. Don't forget, formal cover sheet and no abstract required. Introduction, absolutely. Conclusion, absolutely. You can use subheadings or you don't have to. I'm not too fussed, but make it a nicely formal, structured, argumentative essay. And finally, a word about future Zooms. I said to the people this afternoon, as the semester goes through, we will meet again, and hopefully I'll be able to record you properly next time. And it'd be a good idea to have Zoom or two before each deadline. I don't mean the day before, probably a fortnight before. Now, if I don't get round to inviting you, please feel free to put a note on the news forum saying, wouldn't it be a good idea if we had a Zoom now? Got a few questions. So feel free to invite. Okay. Maybe I will say give you one last metaphor. EDU105, 405 is a bit like Woolworths or Coles supermarkets. They have lots of aisles and lots of stalls, shelves. And so basically there's a huge amount of material on Moodle. I'm looking at it now on my other screen. And basically walk through all the aisles, see what's there, but you are not obliged to read everything or listen to everything. Skip what is not relevant to you and dive in and devour everything that is going to be important to you. I see these subjects as introductory, as gateway, as induction for your degree. And I want to make sure that you're founded on good foundations and you know where to go if ever you get stuck. Make sure that you're familiar with EDInfo and really dig into that, particularly the Education Student Handbook and the Professional Experience and Clinical Teaching Model Manual. They are absolutely vital. Find the relevant pages. They're very long, but find the relevant pages for submission of assignments, etc., and how to do all that. And above all, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Make sure you put it on the news forum because somebody else will want that answered anyway. So just do it. Think of others. It's not being selfish. Just do it. Okay. Have a very good weekend, and I will see you digitally or in person at some point in the future. Bye for now.